So we are going to use a free program called Jamovi. You're going to download it. If you haven't already, go ahead and do that. You click download. It'll read your operating system and tell you what to download. You should download the solid option. Now remember, you're supposed to choose one of these one of these data files, one of these data sets to use for your project in this class eventually. I'm going to be using the Connecticut traffic stop data. No, this is no big deal. You click in here, you see a bunch of data files all over the place. You got to get your data files from somewhere. But in general, you're going to have a CSV data file. It's different for each one of these different projects. A lot of the data files are in zip drives or just presented here in the folder. But ultimately, you've got to save your data somewhere. Now, I'm going to choose. For me, I'm just going to go ahead and choose this specific CSV file. I'm going to save it to my computer. It's already saved there, but I'm going to save it in my download section. I have to know where I'm saving it, and then I have to access it. So go ahead and save any data file you want to just play around with today, and feel free and just do your homework with that data file. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter which data file you choose to use for your homework today. So once you download Jamovi, you open it up by any means necessary. I expect you know how to install a program on your computer. If not, if you have problems, just email me, let me know. I know this can be frustrating. This is the first day we're using it. I'll be lenient today on your homework if it's turned in late or whatever, just because, you're struggling getting the program downloaded. But please let me know. I can help you out. But you open it up and you're working with a data file. I'm working with a data file. How do you open a specific data file? You click this little paper icon, click open. You got to navigate to where your data file is, and the data file that I am going to use is this Connecticut traffic stop data. What you will notice, and I'm going to pause this video in a second, and when you see me back, the data will be loaded, but ultimately it takes it a while to open a big data file. I should probably close some programs on my computer, but don't be alarmed. Go away, go get a soft drink, and this will be downloaded shortly. So the first thing you need to know how to do is create a frequency table. You do have to check your variable to make sure it's the proper type before you create your frequency table. The variable I'm going to choose is called its subject age. So I'm going to double click on this variable. And the measurement type has to be ordinal or nominal. It can't be continuous. I don't know if ID works or not. ID might work. ID might not work. Okay, so now if your variable that you're interested in is nominal or ordinal or is continuous, change it to nominal or ordinal. It doesn't really matter. Ordinal is probably the better choice. So I had that problem with this variable and changed it to ordinal. So I'm going to create a frequency table for the subject age variable. Got two tabs up here. Make sure you're in the analysis tab. Click exploration, click descriptives. Put your variable of interest in the variable box. Mine is subject age. This is not a frequency table. When I click right here, my frequency table populates. And why we do this is so we look and we're like, oh, there are bad values in this frequency table. We can see that we have ages that are less than possible ages. We have negative ages. The next thing you need to learn how to do is filter a variable to get rid of bad observations. So how do we do this? Well, I click my data tab at the top. I click filters. This is going to filter out rows that are bad rows. In this case, I'm going to choose to filter out any subject age that is essentially less than 10 years old. So I'm going to choose to filter in any subject age that is greater than 9 years old. We can see that once I applied that filter, that filter is being applied, it's active. That frequency table that I made earlier is currently changes, and it got rid of all the scores less than 9. To save any output that you get here, you want to right click or control click on a Mac, export as a PDF, and you can figure that out. Now, the third thing we need to learn how to do based on the video is learn how to reverse code a variable. The variable I am going to choose to reverse code is a variable called intervention duration code. I will explain that in a second. Intervention duration code has 3 levels, 1, 2, and 3. The higher numbers mean that the stop took a longer period of time. When you look in the code book, 1 is less than 15 minutes, 2 is 15 to 30 minutes, 3 is 30 minutes or plus. So I'm just going to say I want to reverse code this variable. So I would like whatever's a 1 now to be a 3, whatever's a 2 now to remain a 2, whatever's a 3 now to become a 1. There is a simple algorithm for this. When you want to reverse code a Likert scale, one of these 1, 2, 3 options, 1, 2, 3, 4, anything that's a scale like this, you take the largest option, in this case 3, you add 1 to it, and that's 4. And then you subtract every score from that. So 4 minus 1 is a 3, 4 minus 2 is a 2, 4 minus 3 is a 1. If we apply this to our entire data file, we will have reverse coded every single score on intervention duration code. So we'll do that for every single observation. So let's do that real quick. I'm going to go ahead and hide this for you. You double click, and you're gonna. This is a new variable. You double click in this gray box up here. Just double click. Right, you can see I did that. I would like to transform an existing variable. So new transformed variable. Reverse code duration of intervention. So the source variable is going to be my intervention code, intervention duration code. So I got to find that. Intervention duration code, 1, 2, and 3. Less than 15 minutes, 15 to 30, over 30 minutes. I want to reverse code those. So I'm going to transform using create a new transformation. So what I do is I say, okay, my highest score was a 3. I've given you the algorithm for how to reverse code. So 3 plus 1 is 4. So 4 minus your original score for that stop duration code. So 4 minus the source variable, we'll take 4 minus the original score to reverse score everything. 4 minus 1 is a 3. 4 minus 2 is a 2. 4 minus 3 becomes a 1. So it had to work its magic. You saw it took a while. So that is how you reverse code any of your observations. I do want to give you a little heads up on reverse coding. Now, I've just described it. You can look at what I call the algorithm. You can see the algorithm here. This was a 1, 2, 3 scale. And so what I wanted to do was turn the 1s to 3s, keep the 2s at 2s, and turn the 3s to 1s. And so I took 4 minus each individual score. So all that's doing here is saying 4 minus this intervention duration code, because that was my source. So 4 minus 1 is 3. 4 minus 2 is 2. 4 minus 3 is 1. And if you go over, you'll see that's what happened over here. Now, if your Likert scale doesn't start with 1 but starts with 0, instead of adding 1 to your largest score and subtracting the source, all you do is have to put your largest score right here. So imagine if this was a 0, 1, and 2 scale. Instead of, I wouldn't put 3 minus the source. I would just put 2 minus money sign source. If you have questions on this, I can answer those in class. Don't overthink this. So we've shown you how to do everything. Let's go over our homework. First, I would like you to create a frequency table of any variable you would like to make a frequency table of. Now remember, you got to check, make sure that it's a nominal or ordinal variable, and then you can click Analyses, Exploration, Descriptives. Choose your variable. Mine is going to be subject age, and click that frequency table option. Once it populates, go ahead and right click or control click and export as a PDF. All right. Then I would like you to apply a filter. My filter is already applied. And then I would like you to also go ahead and export this option. Okay, export this frequency table. Then I would like you to, so you've applied the filter. Now I would just like you to choose a variable to reverse code. And what I'd like to see there is I'd like you also to make frequency tables of your reverse coded variable and of the original variable. Now what you're looking for here is just you're making sure that the reverse code worked. Remember, in the original variable, I was trying to reverse code 1, 2, and 3 to 3, 2, and 1. So here's the original variable. 89.3% was 1. I would expect 89.3% to be 3 in my reverse coded variable. And in fact, that's what I found. So then you will again right click, export this frequency table. So you have 3 frequency tables. One frequency table for the variable of your interest. The second one, filter on that variable. I don't care how, it can be imaginary, it doesn't matter, just so you know how to do it, and export that second frequency table. Your third exported frequency table is actually 2 frequency tables. One for your original non-reverse coded variable, and the second one for the reverse coded variable. Just export those 3 PDFs and get 100% on this assignment.